stop what you are doing right now. I am not asking you. I am warning you, because what I am about to tell you in the next few minutes has a time limit attached to it. And if you close this video before I finish speaking, you are going to walk away from something that heaven specifically held open for you today. And I cannot guarantee that this window stays open once you leave. My name is Michael. I am the Archangel of Protection and War, and I was not sent here today to comfort you with soft words and gentle encouragement. I was sent here today with an urgent warning that the God of all creation instructed me to deliver to you personally before the next 3 hours are gone. And everything in you that is tempted to scroll past this, everything in you that is saying, I have heard things like this before, everything in you that has been disappointed enough times that hope itself feels like a trap. I need that part of you to go completely quiet right now and listen, because this is different. What is happening in your life right now is different, and what heaven is about to release over you in the next 3 hours is so significant, so life-changing, and so permanent that missing it would be the single biggest mistake you make this entire year. You have been living in a season that was never supposed to last this long. I need you to hear that and let it land somewhere deep, because the enemy has been working very hard to convince you that where you are right now is simply where you belong, that the struggle is just your life, that the closed doors and the financial pressure and the relationships that never quite healed and the dreams that never quite launched are just the reality of who you are and what you were given. And I want to look that lie directly in the face right now and tell you with the full authority of heaven behind every single word, that is not your life. That is not the life that was written for you before you were born. That is not the ending of your story. What you have been living in is a temporary holding pattern that was allowed for a season of preparation, and that season ended the moment this warning found you today. The blessing that has been building in the heavenly realm, the one with your name on it, the one that God personally signed off on before the foundation of this world was even laid, that blessing has a delivery window, and that window is right now, in these next 3 hours. And heaven sent me here to make absolutely certain that you will not make the catastrophic mistake of being too distracted or too discouraged or too deep in your own doubt to receive it when it arrives at your door. Let me tell you what this blessing actually contains, because I think you have been praying small for so long that you have forgotten what you originally asked God for, before disappointment taught you to edit your requests down to something more manageable. Do you remember the version of the dream you had before the world got to it? Before the rejection letters and the failed attempts, and the people who told you to be realistic started leaving their fingerprints all over your faith? Do you remember what you whispered to God in the dark before you learned to be careful about hoping for too much? That original, unedited version of everything you ever believed was possible for your life. That is what is in this blessing. Not a compromised version of it. Not a scaled-down practical addition that fits neatly within the boundaries of what seems reasonable for someone in your situation. The full original dream. The fun you buried because keeping it alive was costing you more pain than you felt you could keep paying. God never buried it with you. He kept it. He protected it. He developed it in the heavenly realm while you were down here, trying to convince yourself you were okay without it. And now it is fully formed and fully ready and fully prepared to enter your life in a way that is going to make every single year of waiting suddenly make complete and total sense. I have to be direct with you about something that not many messengers will say out loud, because it makes people uncomfortable, but you need to hear it today. The reason this blessing has taken as long as it has taken is not because God forgot you. It is not because he was too busy. It is not because someone else got ahead of you in some kind of divine line. The reason it took this long is because the version of you that existed when you first started praying for this was not yet capable of holding what God was building. And I say that not to shame you, but to honor you, because the process that built your capacity was brutal. It was lonely. It required you to keep going in seasons where every rational reason to keep going had completely disappeared. It asked you to trust a God you could not see or hear or feel, through circumstances that made trust feel like the most irrational choice available to you. And you did it anyway. Maybe imperfectly. Maybe with a lot of doubt mixed in. Maybe with moments where you almost walked away from your faith entirely. And the only reason you did not is because somewhere underneath all the pain, there was something that simply refused to let go completely. That thing that refused to let go, that was not weakness pretending to be strength. That was the hand of God holding on to you from the other side of your faith, when your own grip had given out entirely. And that faithfulness, His faithfulness working through your imperfect, broken, exhausted attempt at believing, is exactly what qualified you for what is arriving today. The enemy knew this day was coming before you did. I want you to understand that because it explains a lot about what this last season of your life has looked like. Hell does not mobilize its full arsenal against people who are not a threat. The level of opposition that has been coming against your life, the specific nature of the attacks, the way problems seem to compound on top of each other, the way every time you started to gain momentum, something would happen to knock you back. The way the warfare seemed almost personal and targeted and relentless. That was not random. That was strategic. The enemy saw what was written over your life before you did. And he has been spending years trying to exhaust you into giving up before the moment that you are currently standing in arrived. He almost succeeded. There were moments when he almost had you, moments when the discouragement was so thick, and the silence from heaven felt so complete, and the evidence that anything was ever going to change was so completely absent, that quitting felt not just reasonable, but merciful. And yet here you are, still standing, still watching, still somewhere inside you, holding on to the thread of something you cannot even fully name, but cannot bring yourself to release. That is not coincidence. That is destiny refusing to be denied. And the enemy is furious right now because everything he invested in stopping you from reaching this moment failed. You made it, and the blessing that was worth all of that warfare is about to make every battle you survived feel like the most worthwhile fight of your entire life. I need you to do something in the next few moments that is going to feel uncomfortably simple, given everything you have been through. I need you to open your hands, not metaphorically, literally. Right now, wherever you are sitting or standing, I need you to turn your palms upward and open your hands. Because closed hands cannot receive what heaven is releasing. Closed hearts cannot accept what God has been preparing. And so many people spend years praying for something, and then when it finally arrives, they are so defended, so protected, so armored against disappointment that the very thing they asked for cannot find a way in. Do not let that be you today. Not today. Not after everything it cost you to get here. The armor served its purpose in the season of warfare, but the war for this particular blessing is over. And you won, and it is time to take the armor off and stand in the open, and let what God promised you finally reach you without obstruction, without condition, and without the filter of every disappointment that came before this moment. You are safe enough to receive now. Heaven has made sure of it, and what is coming through that open door in the next 3 hours is worth every single risk that receiving it requires. Your finances are turning around starting today, and I do not mean that as a vague spiritual statement. I mean it as a specific declaration over the material reality of your everyday life. The debt that has been following you is being broken off. The lack that has become so familiar you stop noticing how heavy it was is being replaced by a provision so consistent and so sufficient that you are going to forget what it felt like to worry about money. The health situation that has been sitting in the back of your mind and stealing your peace every time you let your guard down is meeting the healing power of a God for whom no diagnosis is a final verdict, and no prognosis is beyond revision. The relationship that broke, and that you have privately never fully stopped grieving, is either being restored in a way that surpasses what it was before it shattered, or being replaced by a connection so much more aligned with who you actually are, that you will look back on the loss as the best thing that could have happened to the trajectory of your life. And the purpose, the specific assignment that has been burning inside you since before you had the vocabulary to describe it, is finally being given the platform it has been waiting for. All of it. Not just one piece. All of it, in this season, starting in these next 3 hours. Do not make the mistake of walking away from this video and going back to life as usual, as if nothing happened here today. Something happened here today. Heaven broke through into your ordinary Sunday and sent an archangel with a warning that has a clock attached to it, and that clock is running right now. The 3 hours are active. The window is open, and every minute you spend in doubt or distraction is a minute of that window closing. So make a decision right now in this moment before another second passes. Decide that you believe it. Decide that it is for you. Decide that after everything you have survived, you deserve to stand in the full inheritance of what God always intended for your life without apology and without hesitation. Make that decision and then watch what the next 72 hours of your life look like, compared to everything that came before today. If this warning reached something inside you today, if your heart is beating faster right now, if something shifted in your chest while you were reading this, if you felt heat or tears or a sudden unexplainable peace that did not make sense, given everything you are currently dealing with, that is, heaven confirming that this message was specifically and intentionally sent for you. Type, "I will not make the mistake of ignoring this," in the comments right now, and seal this moment in the spirit before the enemy tries to talk you out of what you just received. Because the moment those words leave your fingertips, something is released over your life that cannot be recalled and cannot be reversed. Drop your first name below, and I will carry it personally before the throne of God, because you did not find this warning today by accident, and your name deserves to be spoken in the highest place that exists. The 3 hours have started. Now the blessing is already moving, and the only question left is whether you are going to be open enough to receive it when it arrives.